Good afternoon everyone, Behzad is here from Code Simplifier Coding School. Welcome back to another video of our SQL series. In our last week work, we finished our tables creation. Today, we will be retrieving information from our tables in our database. So we will start off with connecting our database. You need to click on the database icon here, then enter the password from your database to the server. Press enter. Once you connected, scroll up to your use SQL. This is the line we want to execute to be able to connect to the database and in order to use it. Once you connected to your database, scroll down to the last code we wrote last week. Below our last code, we will write a comment to describe our script. Then we want to select everything from our school table. Execute the script and see the result. So click on it and click execute. You see the information retrieved from the database. As per usual, if it didn't make sense, do not worry. We will come back again and we'll go through them. So below your school script, we want to retrieve everything from other tables to check what information we have in our tables. So the principle is similar, and here actually a copy paste will help you to increase your workflow. Select all the scripts and execute them. Instead of the right hand side one, execute the left one. And as you see here, we have our school table, we got our teacher table, student, subject, and a student in subject table. The next step, it would be retrieving data in a report format to meet the client needs. Let's say our client is a student who wants to get the report of what subject they enrolled into and what is their grades. So I will write the script first, then I will explain myself so we make it clear to you what I've done. I will write a comment to explain the script first. Here is the code that if you execute it, it will retrieve the information of a student named Behzad for this example. And if you execute this code, it will get the information of the student, their full name, their subject they enrolled into, the description of the subjects, their result, and their final grades. And if you look at the table and the code, it looks a little bit complicated. In fact, it's really complicated, but I want to break it down for you so you will understand it before coming to the code and describe the code. So move on, I will show you what I've done. We have our student table, which the student table, we have a student ID, first name and last name. And as you remember from our previous videos, student ID is primary key for our student table. In other hand, we have our subject table, and the subject name is the primary key for the subject table and the description. And these two tables will be connected with a third table called the student in subject. And the student ID and the subject name from those two tables created the primary key for the student in subject name. And the student in subject name has its own cells, such as the student result and the student grade. Since those two tables are connected together, so whenever you want to get information from the student in subject, you need to access it and refer to the primary key in order to get information from it out. Now we will transfer back to our codes, and then I will explain through the codes so you will understand what we've done. Before we start, I just want to let you know I took the information out from the tables that I need to run this code, because I didn't want to overwhelm you. With that being said, let's move on. So let's divide your lines of code into three sections. So here the one section, two section, three section, and the last code is here. So we work on our slide so you see what I've done. So we got the information, the first name from our student table, last name from our student table, and we concatenated those two information and giving us a result as full name. Then we went to our subject table. So from our subject table, is this subject table here, we want a subject name and subject description. From our third table, which will be a student in subject, we want the student result and the student grade. And here is the important part which you need to pay closely attention what we've done. The first line of code here, we are asking to connect these two tables together. How? We're asking from the student table, which it has something in common in the student in subject table. So whenever you find the student ID and the student in subject slash student ID, that means they are equal together. On the other hand, it will same rules apply for our subject table. So we're telling them again, we are asking the subject table has something in common with student in subject table, and that is the subject name. And we're asking whenever you see those two are equal together, that means a student or whatever information we want to get out from these tables are belong to one student. And in our last code, where student first name is Behzad, so here we indicated to get the information for a student who the first name is Behzad. So, and if you run that code, the machine will access these three tables, get the result, and show the result as a report to you. I hope I didn't make it too complicated for you. If it does, just please write it down in a comment and I'll explain to you again, or alternatively, I will create another video specifically to prove and show you how you can use inner joins to get information out of the table. I believe information in this session was too much and I do not want to overwhelm you with too much work. So I will stop the video here and move the work to the next week. I tried to give more examples on this section so you would understand the topic easily. With that being said, I hope you had fun so far and I will see you all next week. If you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure you do so, as that is the only way to support our work. Thanks for your time and I will see you next week.